completely finished. You know, the problem with Starmer, it's not just the fact that he's incompetent. The fact that he actually admitted, by the way, if you speak to some of his ministers, they'll tell you this, he admitted it. In his own words, he doesn't really understand politics, which is understandable because he isn't a professional politician. And he was simply given a safe seat in which he now sits. He's never actually had to fight for anything or play the game of politics. But now his backbenchers know that he cannot march them up the top of a hill anymore to vote on policies that the public hate, and then he can U-turn on them and make them look like bigger prats than they are. They know now that if they rebel in big enough numbers, they can hold him to ransom and he will simply U-turn, as we've just seen with the welfare bill. There's going to be such cuts and such compromises, should we call them to be kind, given to these rebels, that the saving, which was going to be pathetic anyway, 5 billion between now and 2029, is now only going to be 2.5 billion between now and 2029. Every policy they attempt to push through just seems to save a meagre amount of money, if anything at all. They've annoyed farmers for the sake of about 700 million quid. They've lost pensioners forever for the sake of 1.3 billion quid. These are drops in the ocean compared to the money that governments waste on all sorts of crap, especially ours. And what he's managed to do, which no other Labour leader has ever managed to do, by the way, is actually unite the hard left in the party, along with the centrists in the party, completely against him and his ministers. There will be no more now putting policies through without the agreement of all the backbenchers. And there are actually backbenchers in the party, believe it or not, who have never even met Starmer. That's why they're rebelling, because they don't like him. He can't stand them and they can't stand him.